G'day, Matt from Down Under here. This stupid looking contraption is the Ascent VRX coupled with my HDZERO Goggles. It performs remarkably well. I've finally gotten rid of the latency issue. I've got my long Tall Boy Omni and my directional patch. They're both left-hand circular polarized. HDZERO recording happens on board. You need a 4K compatible HDMI cable to get all three modes, and it just rocks. Balance is sort of okay. Instead of mounting it on the front, it's sort of battery on one side, VRX on the other. And the other sort of key thing is that the menu button lines up left to left, right, up, down as to the orientation of the goggles, which is pretty cool. So I've got some footage now to show you. It's this Whoop that's running the Ascent, all on the latest firmware, 17. whatever, and Matrix 3-in-1. So that gives it better stability as well. The Ascent can run off 1S directly, but it's latency spike city. So we don't want that. So off the 5-volt 2-amp rated BEC on the Matrix 3-in-1, it's a perler. So check out the following footage. It is the three modes, and enjoy. Cheers. Alrighty, so first up we've got the best looking one, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Now this is the one. This is one of the modes that really pushed the quality of the HDMI cable I bought. I'd bought a few different ones. I've tried a couple off AliExpress that were, meant to be nice and small and work, but unfortunately they just couldn't get these higher modes. So 720p 100 was also quite difficult, but straight away you can see it just looks bloody awesome. This is crazy. This Whoop is 23 grams, so it's a little bit on the heavy side for 31mm. Never disarm, baby. There you go. And this handles really well. The latency, as you can see in the graph in the top left, sort of sits around the 40 millisecond mark. There's some peaks and troughs with the bit rate as we orientate ourselves around and before and in between objects and so on and blah, blah, blah. But as you can see, it's a pretty responsive flight, even when the bit rate drops. I bottom out there. That's more shit pilot than anything else. And it's laggy, it's not super on point, but for what it is and what it's achieving, it's bloody impressive. What can I say? It's beautiful colours, a sharp picture. There is a bit of a smudge in the top right in the footage today because the lens has taken a bit of a battering. But otherwise, you can see with the lens correction, it puts it all into perspective. I like that lens correction effect. I think it matches the goggles experience pretty well. And it's great. So that was that one. Now we're moving on to 720p 60. This is a very responsive mode. It sort of averages around the high 30s to 40 millisecond rate. As you can see, the picture isn't as sharp as 1080p, but it's still quite brilliant color-wise. A lot of the settings are on the default for the camera. I think I may have turned the sharpness down and stuff, but otherwise they're all set for low latency in 20 megabit mode. Key thing I really enjoy about doing this on the HDZERO goggles is how that the goggles just capture themselves the video. As you can see at the moment, this is actually the HDZERO onboard recording. I chose to use that in the end because whilst the walk style recording is still fine as well, I was able to just get the raw capture of the OSD. I didn't have to use the sneaky FPV tool, even though that is a freaking awesome tool. I didn't need to use it for this case, so you can see all the actual Ascent OSD elements as well. 720p, you can see this mode has a few dips, but really responsive, and there is no latency spikes. The latency is within a limit of between mid to high 30s to upper 50, even 60 milliseconds. The latency graph and the bitrate graphs are sort of normalized for that sort of change in sort of like the rate of change of the latency spikes, but otherwise it's a pretty accurate representation of what I grabbed from the SRT file. So yeah, great mode. This is probably the most responsive mode you're going to get out of the system, 720p 60. And as you can see, you can get some pretty sharp flying with it and hit those gaps, and yeah, really go for it. What my interest really was about was this next mode, which is 720p 100. This is pretty tricky mode to capture. The onboard Ascent VRX actually doesn't capture it in 60 frames a second. It does some sort of weird 37 frames a second sort of thing, and it looks quite jittery. So another reason why I chose to use the HDZERO onboard recording. That recorded this 100 frames a second footage in 60 frames a second, and it's responded quite well. One of the key takeaways from the 100 frames a second mode is it's less stable than the 60 frames a second mode. You can see the bitrate here really fluctuates quite heavily. I didn't see or feel that detract from the flight experience, and the fidelity of the picture was still pretty much on point. But you can see I'm pushing it pretty bloody hard here. I am hitting things, but I'm not losing signal. I'm maintaining solid latency. I'm not getting latency spikes. And I really think that's a combination of, one, driving this thing off of a 5-volt BEC to isolate all that line noise, and also the goggles with the diversity antennas, a proper patch and a proper Omni. I'm not going back to the walk-snail goggles. What can I say? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a long-winded one of me rambling, but yeah, that's it. Cheerio.